The first big question in the 2022 NFL Draft was which quarterback Washington was going to take at 2. That selection was really going to dictate who the Patriots would then go at 3. And we got our answer. After Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels went off the board, New England selected Drake Maye 3rd overall. He was expected to be a top pick heading into this past season, and here we are. Maye was once a 4-star recruit committed to Alabama, but then flipped to play for Mack Brown at North Carolina, a school he knows very well. His dad, Mark Maye, played quarterback at UNC, then 2 of his brothers, Luke Maye and Bo Maye, both played basketball at North Carolina, and if you know, Luke Maye won the national championship in 2017 and was a 2-year starter for Roy Williams. His other brother, Cole Maye, broke the tradition of going to UNC and was a pitcher at Florida and even won the 2017 College World Series while there. It's safe to say that Drake Maye comes from an athletic family. He redshirted his true freshman year in Chapel Hill and threw a single touchdown in relief of Sam Howell. Maye then took over as the starter the next season, and he was great. He threw 5 touchdowns in his first game against Florida A&M, and he didn't slow down. He was the ACC Player of the Year after he had 4,300 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 700 yards and 7 touchdowns rushing. 2023 wasn't quite as good for Maye, but still wasn't terrible. Maye threw for 3,600 yards, 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and rushed for 400 yards and 9 touchdowns. Drake Maye looks like your prototypical franchise quarterback. He has the size, speed, and arm strength. Justin Herbert is really the perfect pro comp for Maye. Now, I like Maye a lot, and I like the selection at 3, but surprisingly, he wasn't the only quarterback the Patriots selected. Back at the 2012 NFL Draft, Washington selected Robert Griffin III 2nd overall, and then later that same draft took Kirk Cousins in the 4th round. You don't often see a team select 2 different quarterbacks in the same draft. The Colts did it in 2012 too, after they took Andrew Luck, but it's only happened again once since the Steelers did it in 2020 when they took Kenny Pickett. 5 rounds after taking Drake Maye, the Patriots went back to the quarterback well and selected Joe Milton. Milton was in college twice as long as Drake Maye and is about a year and a half older. He started his college career at Michigan, where he only started 5 games in 3 years, all 4 coming in 2020. He had 5 touchdowns to 6 interceptions as a Wolverine, but then Milton transferred to Tennessee. Milton only started 4 games over his first 2 years at Tennessee, throwing 12 touchdowns without a pick. But this past season, he started 12 games for the Vols. Milton tossed 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and rushed for 6 touchdowns. Joe Milton is a name you've probably heard of. He's known for having an absolute rocket of an arm, but it's not always accurate. He has a super high ceiling, but also a super high chance to bust. Either way, he's stuck well behind Drake Maye for now. The Patriots clearly made it a priority to bring in offensive weapons, because you obviously want talent around your young developing quarterback. In the 2nd round, 37th overall, the Pats took Jalen Polk out of Washington. He started his collegiate career at Texas Tech and has been at Washington for the past 3 seasons. His 2 best collegiate seasons came catching passes from Michael Penix. Polk is coming off of 69 receptions for 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns last season, all career highs. Funny enough, that all came while still being the number 2 behind Rome Odunze. 2 rounds later, the Patriots drafted another wide receiver, Javon Baker. He started his collegiate career catching passes from Mac Jones at Alabama, but then transferred to UCF and had a lot more usage there. He only had 9 receptions for the Crimson Tide, but it was a different story at UCF. He had a career-high 56 receptions as a junior for 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's coming off of 52 catches for 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns last season. The last guy the Pats drafted that we could see catch some passes from Drake Maye is Jaheim Bell. He played at South Carolina for 3 years and as a sophomore had 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. He then transferred to Florida for his senior season and had 500 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Patriots had an offensive-heavy draft. 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 offensive linemen. The Patriots took a tackle in the 3rd round and a guard in the 4th. Caden Wallace spent 5 years at Penn State and made 40 career starts, all at right tackle. Layden Robinson spent 5 years at Texas A&M and started 33 games. He was named 2nd team All-SEC twice. 7 offensive players in 1 draft is a lot, but the Pats had 8 picks. They drafted 1 defensive guy, cornerback Marcellus Dial, who played with Jaheim Bell at South Carolina. He began his collegiate career at Georgia Military College before transferring to the Gamecocks, where he had 114 tackles and 3 picks over 3 seasons in Columbia. Focusing on the offense at the draft was a good call. The Patriots needed better playmakers, especially now with a rookie quarterback. You really cannot set up Drake Maye to fail the same way Mac Jones was. Saying the Patriots offense is weak compared to the rest of the league would be a bit of an understatement. Kendrick Bourne signed a 3-year, $19.5 million contract this offseason. He's been pretty reliable for the Pats since signing in 2021 after 4 seasons in San Francisco. He had 800 yards in 2021, Mac Jones' rookie year, but hasn't even had a 500-yard season since. However, it did feel like he was on his way to a career year last season, but unfortunately, he tore his ACL in Week 8. He had 434 yards and a touchdown on 35 receptions before the injury. He is probably the worst number 1 receiver in the NFL. Not the worst receiver, just the worst number 1. But he won't have to carry all the offensive load alone. The top receiver in New England last year was actually 6th-round rookie Mario Douglas. He played right down the road at Liberty and had 49 receptions and 561 yards as a rookie, but he never did find the end zone. The Patriots also signed KJ Osborne in the offseason to a 1-year, $4 million deal. You just can't look past the fact that he had 3 straight seasons with over 500 yards in Minnesota. At the very least, Osborne is good depth at the position. The Patriots' second leading receiver in 2023 was actually tight end Hunter Henry. Since leaving the Chargers, Henry has over 1,500 yards and 17 touchdowns for the Pats. New England also brought in another tight end, Austin Hooper, on a 1-year deal. It'll be his 4th team in 4 years. He was once a top-tier tight end for the Falcons, but he's since fallen off and is coming off of a career worst year in Las Vegas. At running back, Ramondre Stevenson is the guy again. He had 1,000 yards in 2022, but only had 600 yards last season, mostly because he suffered a high ankle sprain in Week 13 on a hip drop tackle. His backup, Antonio Gibson, had a 1,000-yard season in 2021. Gibson also scored 11 touchdowns in 2020, 6 more than Stevenson's career high, and followed it up with 7 in 2021. New England doesn't have the best offensive weapons, but the line isn't very good either. It was actually one of the worst pass blocking units in the league last year. Sorry, Mac. The good news is that the Patriots were able to keep the best guy on the line, right tackle Mike Onwenu. He started 56 games in his first 4 years in New England, and he got paid 3 years, $57 million. The Patriots line hasn't been very good, but it's also super young. Center Jake Andrews and right guard Sidney So were both 4th-rounders in 2023, and left guard Cole Strange was the 29th pick in 2022. I also just want to make it known that longtime starter at center David Andrews is returning, but is currently slated behind Jake Andrews. Not sure if that lasts, but just want to make a note of it. It's not a great offense, and that's another reason why we might see Drake Maye sit. Jacoby Brissett was signed for a reason. He played for the Pats as a rookie back in 2016, and he's back in New England with 48 career starts under his belt. The quarterback room is a bit crowded right now. In addition to Maye and Joe Milton, the Patriots also have 2022 4th-rounder Bailey Zappi. I'll be honest, it's kind of weird seeing the Patriots searching for a franchise quarterback. Quarterback was so stable for so long with Tom Brady there, but those days are now gone. After Tom Brady left, the Patriots tried 1 season of Cam Newton before drafting Mac Jones 15th overall in 2021. And contrary to what he's been for these past 2 years, Mac Jones was very good as a rookie. Mac made the Pro Bowl and took the Patriots to the postseason. He threw for 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. That was easily his best season in New England. But then it all fell apart. He went on to go 6-8 and had 3,000 yards, only 14 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions in 2022. But Mac was even worse this past season. He went 2-9 in his starts and threw for 2,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. The Patriots decided that he just wasn't the guy and sent him to the Jaguars for a pick that, funny enough, was used to select Joe Milton. On top of all that, the Patriots also parted ways with longtime head coach Bill Belichick in favor of Jerod Mayo. Mayo played for the Patriots from 2008 to 2015 and has been the inside linebackers coach since 2019. He knows the franchise very well, and the new era of New England football is in his hands. His first task, find a franchise quarterback, and hopefully that's Drake Maye.